Split. So Split is the latest installment by writer-director M. Night Shyamalan, and it follows a man named Kevin, played by James Mcavoy. Kevin suffers from a disorder that allows him to have multiple personalities in one body. He has 23 personalities to be exact, and about 4 of them are really bad people. The 4 devise a plan to kidnap 3 teenage girls that will all be part of a ritual involving a 24th personality. And now we must watch these teenage girls try to get out of their captive situation. That's all I'll pretty much say without giving any spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review. I'm just gonna tell you what I like about the film, what I didn't like, hit you with a rating system just like this one, breaking down the elements of the film and telling you whether you should watch it in the cinema, rent it, or maybe just avoid the film completely. Now, M. Night Shyamalan is a guy that we either love or we hate, or some of us are just caught in the middle. I find myself in the middle. I appreciate his good works, and I understand why his other films suck. But because he is a true film fan and film is his passion, I understand that quality. I'm always willing to give the guy a shot. And lately he's been on the uprise, and Split continues to be that uprise for M. Night Shyamalan. Let me go into some of the positives of this film. Definitely James McAvoy. James McAvoy's performance in this film brings it up to a whole nother level. I'm sure there were plenty of actors being able to play multiple personalities in one film, probably like an Eddie Murphy or something, but the special touch James McAvoy brings to each and every single one of his personalities, brilliance. Every time the man showed up on screen, it was an exciting thrill ride to see how he was going to be different than all the other personalities. Aside from the amazing acting from James McAvoy, though, the film is also very suspenseful. It does keep your eyes on the screen, wanting to know what's going to happen. It's not always self-contained. There are some flashbacks and a character outside the basement that keeps the film entertaining. It's not quite a character study or something that should be really heavily analyzed, but it is something that anybody can watch and really be entertained by. One thing that's surprising about the film, it has a good amount of humor. There's some really authentic humor, especially from one personality in particular. I don't want to give too much away from the film because it is an M. Night Shyamalan film and we have some sort of twist coming along. And that's another thing, because it is an M. Night Shyamalan film, you're overanalyzing every scene, every line of dialogue, a picture on the far right corner of the screen. That makes it so much fun to watch these films, to see if when the twist happens, you're like, I saw it coming because of so and so. I really had a good time watching this film. I was very happy M. Night Shyamalan is proving himself that he is coming back, that he is stepping up his game. I'm excited to see what other things he does. I think he should really stick with Blumhouse and do these small picture horror films. It's exactly where M. Night belongs. He doesn't need a big budget and some stars to make a good film, because that hasn't worked in the past. But of course, it's not a perfect film. It does have some flaws, leading me into some of the negatives. One thing I find very often in M. Night films is he does a little bit of over-explaining. Meaning he wants to be sure when the twist happens or what the big thing is supposed to be revealed, he wants to know that every audience member will get it, whether you're a 3-year-old or a 50-year-old in the audience. And that kind of hurts the film because they do a lot of over-explaining in the film. As you're watching, you're trying to understand how this personality thing can happen, and the film tries to answer those questions for you. But in answering those questions, they only bring up more facts that bring up more questions. I think if the film stayed a little more vague on how the character could happen and just having us, the audience, accept what was happening on screen, M. Night giving us that leap of faith, I think the film could have benefited from that a lot. Because at some points I was like, okay, I get it, I know this guy can do this, I know this is what can happen, let's move the story along, please. Another negative about the film is some characters actually disappear. The ones you're actually most interested to see disappear for a good chunk of the film and then are only brought back for a short period of time. I can also say the 3 main teenage girls, while they're not horrible actors, their performances did have highs and lows, especially the main girl. She's the one you're most following, and she's also the one most hard to watch. But by the end of the film, you get to really like her character, but it takes some time for you to be like, I honestly don't care about this girl. Back to the over-explaining. Whenever the big thing that's supposed to be revealed and the thing they're leading up to finally happens, you're like, well, okay, I know this is gonna happen. The film has been giving me all these facts and evidences and lines telling me this is what's supposed to happen. So it's not really surprising when it happens. Still, I will say the overall twist, the big one in the film, is pretty fun to watch. It's pretty interesting. I'm not gonna give away or give any hints, but I will say Shyamalan fans will be extremely happy. And I think casual movie fans, it might just go over their heads. I was a guy who's not a big Shyamalan follower. I watch his films from time to time, and I was able to understand it, so don't be afraid. So in the end for Split, I'm gonna give it 2 stars for action, and that's just for the last final cut of the film where something finally goes on. Comedy, I'm actually gonna give 3 stars because there were a lot of funny moments, more funny moments than I thought they were gonna be in a film like this. Drama, I'm gonna keep it to 3 stars because while I thought it was gonna have a little more, it just kept it pretty simple by the end of it. Horror, I am gonna give 2 stars because, come on, being kidnapped is a pretty scary thing, especially from a guy who doesn't even know who he is. And suspense is gonna get 4 stars because I had my stomach curled a lot of times in this film. B+ for a casual fan, A- for a cinephile, and critically it's gonna get a B+. In the end, Split is worth watching in theaters. So that's just my opinion on Split, guys. Let me know what you thought about the film. If you'd like to talk about the twist with me, just comment down below, put a little spoiler warning for other people, and I'll be sure to share my thoughts. But as always, guys, I'm Chris. Take care.